Okay, can you all see this okay? Oh, good. Okay, so mindfulness, Socrates, he once said, to know thyself is the beginning of wisdom. So mindfulness is kind of a process of understanding who we are and how we feel in each moment. So I want to do a little like an experience with you guys. I want you to think in your head, or you can write it on a piece of paper. When was the last time you felt really upset or angry? How did you feel? What was going on? Was it a brother or a sister that was being really annoying? Maybe it's that you didn't want to do a chore and mom and dad said, yeah, you better do it. And you're like, no, I don't want to. I don't know. Something like that. Those were things I got upset about when I was in seventh and sixth grade. But kind of think about it. Let's see. So think about it for a second. What emotions were going through? Did you feel upset? Sometimes my forehead would get upset. My face would actually turn red, just like this guy's right here. And I'd have all these different feelings going on. So mindfulness, kind of what it is. So mindfulness is a mental state achieved by focusing one's awareness on the present moment while calmly acknowledging and accepting one's feelings, thoughts, and bodily sensations used as a therapeutic technique. Okay. So guys, why are we talking about mindfulness today? I want to tell you that there's been some really cool research done that shows that mindfulness benefits schooling. So they've reported that people have higher levels of attention. How many of you get distracted sometimes? You'll be doing here and like your computer pops up and you're like, oh, what's that? And you click Mrs. Holt and some others. Yeah, like it happens all the time. So mindfulness helps us be aware of what's happening and helps us to focus a little bit better. They also say that it helps with retention. That's a fancy way of saying it helps you remember things better. And also they did a study with people that did mindfulness in school, and they actually reported having better math grades just by practicing mindfulness. They also said you get better relationships. So you get along with your peers and the people around you a little bit better. So these are some of the benefits from practicing mindfulness. So let's kind of talk about how to practice mindfulness. Okay, let me know. I'm going to try this video out and you let me know how it works. Okay?
Some days meditation will feel easy. On others, it might feel difficult. The trick is to gently stay with it each time, no matter how it feels. Look for a place in your routine where this exercise can slot in easily. Research shows it's easier to create a new habit when we do it at about the same time each day. We recommend doing it first thing in the morning, but you might need to be flexible with that. Find somewhere you won't be disturbed. Don't worry too much about background noise. I'll explain how to deal with that, but it might be easier at first if you have some peace and quiet. Make sure you're sitting comfortably before you start. Unless you're used to sitting cross-legged on the floor, I'd recommend using a chair. Sit with your legs and arms uncrossed, feet flat on the floor, and hands resting in your lap or on your legs. Try to keep your back straight, but not too tense. If you need it, a small cushion or a rolled-up towel under your backside will help keep your back straight. And that's it. You're now ready to get some headspace.
So guys, let's jump right in. So kind of the steps let's go ahead and try it. So he talked about sitting in a comfortable place, eliminating distractions, and being a little bit comfortable. So let's go ahead and everyone sit in your chairs. We're going to try this out for just a moment. Okay.
Some days meditation will feel.
Just kidding. Let me click on the next button. There you go. Okay. So what we're going to do is a technique. Was it supposed to? Sorry, I didn't catch that. Let me see. Mrs. Holt, I'm learning how to check. How do I check the chat function? I can't see the chats on my screen right now. Can you help me with the question? What was the question?
I'll do questions. Yep.
Okay. Okay. So right now, let's try a little bit of triangle breathing. So what we're going to do is we're going to breathe in for 4 seconds. So, and then we're going to hold it for 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we'll blow it all out. Try to get all the air out for 6 seconds. Okay, and we're going to do that 3 times. Okay, so let's start. 1, 2, 3. Breathe in. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4, 5, and breathe out for 6. 3, 4, 5, 6. Breathe in. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4, 5. Out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. One more time. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4, 5. Out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And it sounds funny because you're like, man, I just breathe. But I want you to pay attention to kind of how your body feels right now. Does it feel a little bit more relaxed, a little bit more comfortable? So what we did was a workout in our brains. It helps us pay attention to how our body is, and how our mind is feeling, and this helps us to be a little bit more present. So what do you guys think mindfulness is about? I want to hear your opinions. Kind of what experience do you have with mindfulness? Can you share with me either in the chat or you can unmute and talk? Peace. I like that. Yep. Kindness. The answers. Yeah. So those are great things. Yeah. I love, have you guys seen Kung Fu Panda? How many of you seen Oh my goodness, Mr. Jensen loves Kung Fu Panda. And one thing that the turtle, do you guys remember the wise turtle? Yeah, yeah. So the turtle, he talks about being present. He says, yesterday is history, tomorrow's a mystery, and today is a gift. That's why they call it the present. And so today, mindfulness is about being in the present and finding joy and peace in the moment that we're in right now. Oh, let's see what happened here. Okay, let's go back. Oh, that's too bad. One of my slides isn't working. I don't know why. Okay, so guys, let's talk about what are some activities you can do that help engage that mind and help you to be more present. There's some ideas on this page. Can you guys see some things that you like that could help you be mindful that are on this page? And what are they?
Mr. Jensen, for me, I really like to go out and we like to four-wheeler rides or ride dirt bikes on our trailer and just go out in the hills and go in the mountains. And sometimes, it's just going for a ride in our car. And so just going out and then being able to walk around and get to nature and have that really fresh, good air and not tons of people around and have it quiet and no phones and service and all of that, and just being able to really relax and breathe and no stress. So that's a big one for me when I feel like I'm really getting worn out and tired. That helps me a lot.
That's really cool, Mrs. Holt. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, I love spending time out in nature, taking a walk. Anna Jones also likes to go for walks. I like a midnight stroll. Yeah, these are some great things to do that help to keep your mind into the present moment. Interesting options. Yeah, so part of this, like cooking, taking a bath, journaling. Anyone have a journal here? Yeah, I have a journal. I love writing in my journal. It helps me to focus on what's happening that day. Um, um, Raise your hand. Anna does. Awesome. Okay. Oh, so this is what I was going to talk about too. So let me double check real quick. Yeah. So guys, mindfulness. How many of you, okay, let me share a story. So Mr. Jensen, I love to bake chocolate chip cookies. That's one of the mindfulness things for me. I love chocolate chip cookies. Okay. But I also, my favorite part is eating them. Okay. So I'll eat a cookie and suddenly I think I put it down and I go around and I do something else and I come back and my cookie's gone. Anyone else have that happen before? No, that's just me. So what happened is I actually ate the whole cookie, but I didn't think that I thought there was more left. Yeah. So sometimes that's not me mindfully eating. I'm mindlessly eating. So mindfully eating could be something like when you take the bite of the cookie. Guys, imagine a chocolate chip cookie. This is Mr. Jensen's favorite. So if you don't like them, bear with me. So you take a bite of the cookie. What texture do you feel? Can you taste the chocolate? What else? Do you have the flour in there?
I
So
taste the cookie.
oh, taste the cookie. Yeah. So you have the cookie and then you try to break it down into little pieces. Like what else? What else can I feel in this cookie? You know, and try to break it down in your mind. You're like, did I put egg in here? Can I taste the egg? And you just kind of think through the different ingredients. So it's kind of fun. It's kind of fun trying it out. It helps you enjoy the cookie a little bit differently. Anyway, so that's a way to mindfully eat. Try it at dinner too. So tonight, whatever you guys have for dinner, um, I'll try to talk louder. I don't know if that'll help. So tonight, whatever you have for dinner, try to take about a mouthful and just chew it real slowly and try to pay attention to every ingredient that's in there and see if you can tell your parents exactly what is in your dinner. Okay. So that's a little bit about mindfulness. Guys, this is a page, if you're interested to learn more about mindfulness, here's some resources that I gathered. One is a research article done by Harvard that explains why doing mindfulness in school is so good. Another one is the brain and mindfulness. So it talks about if you're interested in how the brain is made up, there's different parts that it talks about how it makes it stronger by doing mindfulness. It's really cool. Mr. Jensen loves this stuff. And then there's a couple of apps like the Calm app or a Headspace app, and then a couple more. And then this activities one, there's two different links here that talk about 50 to 100 different things you can do to practice mindfulness. And anyway, I want to share those with you. I don't know if we have lots of time. If we have more time at the end, we can jump back and look at the activities. But so guys, so the most precious gift that we can offer others is our presence. When mindfulness embraces those we love, they will bloom like flowers. It's just, I liked it. This is a nice quote. So guys, let's talk about feelings. Let's check in right now. Like, Dusty. So how are you guys feeling right now? You know, if you go ahead and write in the chat bar or go ahead and talk up, well, how are you feeling right now? Happy? Tired? Yeah. Normal. So what does normal feel like? Yeah, calm. Some people their normal is scared. Some people normal is sad. Like it so kind of oh you feel warm? Yeah. These are good feelings. So sometimes we all have different feelings. So let's kind of talk about this. Happy. So when Mr. Jensen feels happy, I actually feel it in my chest. I don't know if you can see it, but like up here. Some people, when I talk to them, they feel happy in their stomach. Like they say they get like butterflies in their stomach. So think about it. Like, where do you feel happiness? Is it in your head, your heart? You can share if you want. If you're like, nah, I don't know, that's okay. Pay attention. Next time you feel happy, ask yourself, where do I feel happy? I feel happy in my happy. Where is your happy? You know? So pay attention to that. How about anger? Can you guys tell when someone else is angry? Anna, is that for anger or is that for happiness? Oh, so where do you feel angry? Oh, for happy. Okay. And then can you guys tell if someone else is angry? And how can you tell if someone else is angry? I can hear again. Okay. So how can you tell when someone else is angry? They yell at you. Okay. Their tone of voice, their facial expressions. So sometimes by the same way that we can tell if someone else is angry, we can tell that we ourselves are angry. Yep. Sometimes they can get violent. Have you guys ever felt angry without yelling and without getting violent though? Some of you, yeah, yeah. So sometimes we can have these feelings all the time. So yeah, sometimes this anger, what do we do with that anger? And it's okay to feel it, but what do we do with it? So mindfulness helps us pay attention to how we're feeling and when we're feeling it. And it helps us make choices on what we're doing. Yeah. And someone mentioned sometimes they get mad at themselves. Yeah, we do. Sometimes we feel these things all the time. Yeah, you guys. Or sadness, how can you tell if you or someone else is sad? Where do you guys feel sadness? How about surprise? Some people love being surprised. Some people hate being surprised. Who likes surprises? You guys tell me who likes a surprise? You like surprises? Oh, Mr. Jensen does not like surprises. I like everything planned out. I hate surprise Anna too. Yeah, you guys. So it's interesting. Everyone has different feelings, and some of us enjoy certain feelings more than others. Mr. Jensen doesn't love feeling surprised, but his wife loves feeling surprised. And so it's different. It's so interesting how we all have different feelings. So mindfulness helps us pay attention to how we feel about those feelings, and then our next steps on them. So like if we're in like a math class, let's think we're in a math class and we got our test back and we didn't do as good as we thought we wanted to, right? A 10. Yeah. So let's say we wanted to do really good and we didn't do as well. How do you think you're feeling right now? Yeah, someone's feeling mad. Yeah. You feel mad, sad. It's terrible. Yeah. Yeah. For me, sometimes you feel surprised because you're like, oh, I studied really hard. Why didn't I do as well as I wanted to do? So mindfulness, as we feel all these feelings, we can take a deep breath and say, wow, I feel really sad, surprised, angry, whatever it is, doubtful. Yeah, we can feel those things. And then we can take a moment and say, oh, what can I do next to not feel this as much, or what can I do to help myself get to a place that I want to be at? Yeah. And so it can be journaling, it can be going into nature. Someone said midnight walks. Yeah, you can do these different things to help yourself out, to get yourself feeling that calm and peaceful level. Guys, minus the one. And so I'm going to try to go back. No, my slides still didn't work. So I'm sorry about that. But what questions do you guys have today? No questions today? How old am I? I'm old enough to have children and young enough to feel young. Awesome. I have two little kids. So I have a 9-year-old and a 4-year-old. Great job. That's awesome. We got some great ages in here.
Okay, and I'm going to add this Miss Holt again. I'm just going to add Mr. Jensen's email to the chat box. So if you want to write it down, then he could send you a copy of this Oh, it's right there. Perfect, Mr. Jensen. And then just write it down, guys, or email him. And then you could, if you want a copy of this, that way you could click on those links with all the different activities that he mentioned, or even like the apps, if you might be interested in that with your parents, you could talk to them more. So if you're interested in having a copy of this, just email him and then he can send that to you. Okay, does anyone else have questions though for Mr. Jensen right now? He did such a great job. Oh, what's your question, bud? Okay, you guys can just email Mr. Jensen then if you want a copy. And then, anyways, I just think he did such a great job. And I feel like we have the mindfulness challenges that that I emailed out at the beginning of this month. And so you guys can continue to work on those things. It gives you different activity options and things that you can do each week as you begin to really learn more about what mindfulness is. And it's a really good thing for you just to help like along the way. So it teaches like journaling more, or breathing techniques, or taking a walk, some of the things you guys mentioned, maybe cooking, things like that. So and that is a challenge that you guys can do. And if you submit your information on that Google form that I sent with it, then as long as you're doing the activities, then you will get a prize at the end of May, like early June. It'll be mailed to you. And the prize is just some other things that help with mindfulness. So it's a really good thing. And this is a great help of what Mr. Jensen did, explaining what mindfulness is to all of you. And then if you choose to do the activities that are mailed out, then you can do those things. So if you have any more questions, please let us know. Otherwise, Mr. Jensen, I think we're good unless you want to say anything else.
No, I think that's everything. I'm so happy I got to meet with you guys today. And so we sent out an email. So you'll have to look at your emails and check out the mindfulness activities and the mindfulness challenge, okay? And then it'll explain how to earn a prize on there. Good question.
Okay. Thank you so much for your time, everybody. We appreciate you meeting with us, and we will see you again soon. Bye, everyone.
Thanks.
Have a great day.